All right, boys and girls. I was going to end my videos, but then I realized, looking ahead at the homework, I saw that numbers 109 through 122 on page 291. I thought I'm gonna get a lot of questions asked because the in the book it didn't show any examples like those. So I figured I'd go through one with you, and the one that I'm gonna do with you is number 109, and basically the directions read. Find the exact value of each function for the given angle for f of theta equals sine theta and g of theta equals cosine theta, which is what I wrote there. And it says, do not use a calculator. Well, the way that I've been teaching you how to do it without a calculator. Of course, we've used a calculator to add, subtract, multiply, or divide, but I've been doing it without, which, by the way, that's a hint. You can check all your solutions through a calculator, okay? So let's get started. So part A, they give you f plus g times theta. So basically, you can actually rewrite this as f of theta plus g of theta, okay? So now if I do the work, f of theta is sine theta, and remember our theta is 30 degrees, so this is the same as saying sine of 30 degrees plus g of theta is cosine, and this is cosine of 30 degrees. Now, again, we're not going to use a calculator, but what you can do is you can use the chart. I believe that was on 285. It's the one we used earlier where they gave you all the solutions. So you can use your unit circle as well. But again, they want you to solve it without using a calculator. So sine of 30, if you look at the chart, is 1/2. And cosine of 30 is square root of 3 over 2. And technically, you can leave it here or simplify by just adding the numerators. And because we have an integer and a radical, you really can't combine them. You would just leave it like this, especially since they want an exact value. So you don't want to use the calculator because using the calculator would give you a decimal. So this would be it. So for part A is 1 plus radical 3 over 2. Okay? All right, let's move on to part B. We have to basically do all 6 of them. Okay, so let's move on to part B. So in part B, we're given g minus f of theta. And again, I can technically rewrite this as g of theta minus f of theta. Okay, we can actually do it a lot faster because if you do part A, this will make sense. Remember g of theta, that gave us cosine of 30, which was radical 3 over 2. And f of theta gave us sine of 30, which gave us 1 over 2. Okay, and same thing, we're just subtracting. And remember, you can't subtract a radical and an integer, so the most you can do is just simplify it this way. And again, they want exact values, so you want to leave it like this. And you don't have to use a calculator, and that's it. Okay, so it'll give you square root of 3 minus 1 over 2. All right, let's go to C. Okay, so part C, is g theta squared. Okay, so remember, this is the same as cosine 30 squared, which is the same as square root of 3 over 2 squared. And then when you square a fraction, all you have to do is distribute. So square the numerator, square the denominator. So this will give you 3 over 4. Okay, and that's it. All right, so now we're gonna do D, E, and F. If you feel like you still need me, you want to keep up with me for all 6, keep going. If you feel like, okay, I think I got it, you can move on now to the homework. But I'm gonna go ahead and do D, E, and F. Okay. Okay, so for the next one is f of g theta. That's the same as saying f of theta times g of theta. Again, you guys use the previous one to kind of help you and move a little bit faster. So f of theta, that was sine of 30, and that should be 1/2. G of theta, that was cosine of 30, and that should be square root of 3 over 2. So when you simplify this, you just end up with square root of 3 over 4. Okay, remember, whenever you multiply fractions, just straight across. Okay, the next one, f of 2 theta. So this is the same as saying sine of 2 times 30, which is now going to change your angle in here. So it's the same as saying sine of 60. So now we're working with 60 degrees. So you can just look at the chart on page, I know I said earlier 285 and I meant to say 287. And sine of 60 is square root of 3 over 2. Okay? All right, awesome. The last one is g of negative theta. So this is the same as cosine of negative 30 degrees. And okay, so this is when you use one of your like trig function properties. And I believe you should have a index card on this. And let me actually show you which one you're going to be using. Whenever cosine and your angle, whether it's in radians or degrees, it's negative, it is the same as if it is positive. These are equivalent to each other. So if I want to know what cosine of negative 30 is, it is exactly the same as cosine of 30. And well, we already know what cosine of 30 is, which is square root of 3 over 2. And that's it. Okay? So now you're going to try one on your own, and I promise, I know it's 6, it's kind of tedious, so I promise only to give you 1 or 2 of these, okay, at most. All right, boys and girls, you have enough to start on the homework. Again, if you need help, please reach out to me, any of your classmates, or join any of the tutoring sessions, okay? All right, good luck.